What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Cal Life here, bringing you another Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel video, and today we are going to be playing from Despia Darklords. Now, if you're new to the channel, then you should know that one of my favorite decks to play in Master Duel is Despia, as this deck is just able to go ahead and do so many things, especially when you combine it with the power of Darklords and their drawing power and their just resummability, right? So we are using the DPE engine in there, so obviously we are going to be playing the Fusion Destiny with the Dasher and Celestial. So anyways, if you like the content, please do not forget to go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, as it does help the channel grow, and I appreciate everyone here who has been supporting me till this day. But anyways, this is a deck we are running. I will have the deck listed in the description below, so please go ahead and check it out. And if you don't believe how good this deck is, bro, look at this. We are on a 13 game win streak. We are plat 2, about to be plat 1 and 2 more. So this deck has literally just been climbing. It has been climbing, and do keep in mind, guys, this is my alt account. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so we are going second. Now we are playing some Swordsoul. I thought it was kind of weird that they went into Iris, so I'm gonna assume that they just bricked. Anyways, we do draw into a Banishment of the Darklords, so I'm gonna go ahead and actually activate that. We're gonna get ourselves a Morningstar and then activate the Theater. Now, by activating Theater, I'm going to actually go ahead and go into the first Darklord. That way I could go ahead and pop everything that's on the field. They're gonna activate the Iris, which is going to go ahead and destroy one of my special summoned monsters. But to be honest with you, it didn't really mean much to me, because I was able to get rid of a Droplet and a Call by the Grave, which is huge, right? Now I'm going to activate Fusion Destiny. By activating Fusion Destiny, we're going to go into DPE, obviously. You know, just do the regular DPE shenanigans, and we're just going to go ahead and attack. So, if you really think about it, right? We got rid of Esclacia, a Iris, a Call by the Grave with Forbidden Droplet. I think that was well enough just to lose our first Darklord, especially because we played 2. They do start off by hitting us with a Harpy's Feather Duster, and then they have a second Esclacia. Now they go into the Soul of Moye, and they activate the Blackout. Now, it's weird. I think that that's what they should have done first, regardless, instead of the Iris play. Anyways, I activate DP's ability, because what I was going to do is just go ahead and destroy his his Swordsoul monster, and he was just going to be left with a token. So I mean, that would have just negated him, and then we still had the branded opening in our hand. We just would have completely destroyed that player. Like they really didn't have much going for them, because they just went with such a weird opening of a play, especially for Swordsoul. I don't know, I just personally think Iris itself doesn't really fit in that deck, despite being a Swordsoul monster. But because it's not a worm, I don't know, I probably wouldn't play it. But anyways, let's get into the next one. All right, so here we are going second once again. So going second is not very ideal, especially because we are going to be playing against Dragonmaids. I'm gonna be honest, it's the decks that I hate the most. I would think it's probably Dragonmaids and maybe Rongo, because man, the Dragonmaids just do so much. Like it's your turn, but for the most part it's their turn. Anyways, look at this, it's their turn. They're gonna go ahead and activate some effects. I've just got to sit here and watch them just have all types of fun. We're still in our standby phase, by the way. Anyways, I'm going to activate the Ixchel's effect. I toss out one of my Darklords, activate Reasoning. By activating Reasoning, we're able to get a Tragedy onto the field, so I activate the Darklord Contact to go ahead and bait out. They decide to actually pop this effect and negate it, which is going to be amazing for us, right? So now I can go ahead and activate the Theater. From activating Theater, I'm going to go into our first Darklord, and then from the first Darklord, I'm going to summon out the Dramaturge, use the Tragedy's effect to go ahead and grab a Despia monster. So we do get the Jester, and then we summon out the Dramaturge. Now, the good thing about Dramaturge is when I do go into another summon, fusion summon, which I'm going to actually do right now. I'm going to go into the Verte and the Conda, right? So I'm going to activate Fusion Destiny. Then I'm going to go ahead and activate the first Darklord. Now, you may be wondering why I'm doing this. Fusion Destiny's effect hasn't went off yet, which means our Dramaturge can come back. I can then go into the DPE, and because Dramaturge is on the field, I can negate an effect. So I want to go ahead and negate this kitchen Dragonmaid, the reason I'm negating it because at the beginning of the battle phase they can go ahead and special summon one level 8 monster from their hand or graveyard, right? So I decided to go ahead and destroy this with DPE, and with this being negated, that can't activate. So we just go ahead and attack into the house Dragonmaid, and I play our branded red face down. So we did get rid of some annoying cards. Anyways, I activate the branded in red. I'm going to take the Tragedy. I'm going to take the Dramaturge. Now with it being a new turn, Dramaturge's ability can activate again, so it can make it come back to the field. I'm going to use Tragedy's effect. I'm going to use Dramaturge's effect. Tragedy is going to allow us to go ahead and grab a card. Dramaturge is going to come back to the field. And so now we do have the Jester in our hand, and because they play a lot of fusions, we can use Dramaturge's ability, which I'm actually going to use here to negate this, so the battle phase that can activate. Now with the Masquerade on the field, we are going to get some burn damage, 600 apiece for each card played. So right there, we already done burned 1200, then we burned 1800. So as you can see, it is racking up. Could you imagine if we had 2 on the field? Could you imagine? Anyways, another 600. This card is amazing, bro. Anyways, they're gonna go ahead and activate the Dragonmaid changeover from the grave by returning 1 card to the hand. They would be able to draw bring that card from the graveyard. Sorry about that. But honestly, I decided to go ahead and pop DPE. I don't think popping DPE was correct, but at the end of the day, they did have the Chio, and he would have been able to negate us anyways if I did activate DPE, so it wasn't too bad. What I think I should have done though is got rid of the Anaconda. By getting rid of Anaconda, right, I wouldn't be taking such massive damage. So but then they ended up not attacking, which I don't know why, like, at all, but is what it is. Anyways, they are going to now activate the effect, and by activating their effect, I'm just going to go ahead and super poly, and I believe they end up scooping here, if I remember correctly. Yes, they do. So all right, so yeah, this deck is just crazy. Like, we went second, we were still able to go ahead and counter things. They had a negate on the field. I mean, it's not the most optimal setup that most decks can do, but for a deck that can activate on not only your turn but also their turn, especially the end phase of a battle phase or the start of the battle phase or your own standby phase, you know, we did pretty well. So this deck is really performing well. Let's go ahead and get into the third match. All right, round 3, and we are going to be going first. So I start off with the Indulge, and I'm gonna go ahead and put a Ukoback onto the field. From there, I activate the Ixchel. Ixchel is gonna go ahead and grab us 2 cards. And then I'm gonna go ahead and activate the Reasoning. They select a level 4, and honestly, we're tossing out a lot of good cards, and we actually end up going into level 4, which does kind of mess things up. I was hoping we would go into a Tragedy, but unfortunately it didn't happen. Anyways, I noticed that they're playing Phantom Knights, and boy, oh boy, is this bad for them, as Phantom Knights is nothing but dark monsters for the most part, right? And we have a super poly face down, so you already see where this is going. But I did not see them going into Verte. Anyways, they summon out the Verte, right? By summoning out Verte, they're gonna go ahead into the DPE, and by doing that, they basically lock themselves out of special summoning monsters for the rest of this turn because of this, right? So now all they have is DPE. So I'm just gonna go ahead and activate the super poly. I'm gonna get rid of the Ixchel just in case I don't want to get rid of Jester or Celestial. Then they decided to go into the Z Almond to get the Foxy Tune, and they forgot that they use Fusion Destiny, so they were locked out of being able to do things. Anyways, let's get to the next one. Okay, so on our last turn, this is actually going to be a little weird. Did I say last turn? I meant last duel. We are playing Numerons, and they decided to go first, which was kind of weird for Numeron players. Usually they want you to go ahead and set up so they can just go ahead and do what they do. But anyways, he summons off his Numeron, I believe it's called Numeron Gate or whatever it's called, Numeron Network, to go ahead and immediately go into the Apollosa, and he places a card face down. Now I do open up with a pretty strong hand, so I decided to activate the Despia Theater. Then I use Despia to go ahead and just get one of the monster negates out of there. And the thing about Apollosa is it doesn't destroy, it just negates you, right? So now because of that, I'm going to actually go ahead and go into Creatus. And now by going into Creatus, I was going to be strong enough to attack, but they activate the Deep Dark Trap Hole. And what that does is it banishes our monster. But before that happened, I was able to go ahead and basically lower its attack down to 0. And then because it got banished by an effect, we can go ahead and summon out a Dramaturge. Now I activate our Fusion Destiny to summon out DPE. And now what we're just going to do is attack for 5,500, which is not bad. But I decided to then activate DPE's ability, get rid of Numeron Network, then bring DPE back. And I decided to go ahead and play a card face down just for bait. And honestly, I did not expect the Numeron play to open up with this. So they are first going to go ahead and hit us with a Harpy's Feather Duster, which is actually pretty smart. By hitting Harpy's Feather Duster, they can stop the effect of Theater. I decided to go ahead and use DPE's effect because no matter what, DPE was going to come back next turn anyways. So the Regeki kills off both Dramaturge and the DPE. Activate DPE's effect, and then they have another Numeron Network, so it didn't even matter, right? So they're gonna go ahead and summon out all 4 of their monsters. Now what was weird, I don't know, I just feel like this Numeron player just kind of played a little weird because usually you would want to keep monsters on the field, especially knowing that you have Numeron Network, right? But chose not to, I guess because Dramaturge can negate, and then on top of that DPE can destroy, but still, right? Anyways, they summon out the Crusadia. With the Crusadia, honestly, this card doesn't really do much. I activate the Dasher's ability. We summon out the Darklord, Indulge, and we get hit with an Ash, which is going to just allow us to just go ahead and do what we want. Now, the Mech Knight Crusadia, this card doesn't really bother me too much because DPE doesn't target, right? So it can destroy regardless. Anyways, we use the Theater, so we can go activate Celestial, and we actually top deck into 2 good cards, one being the Aluber and then one being Banishment of the Darklords. So I'm actually going to go ahead and grab myself a Morningstar. From the Morningstar, I can go ahead and make the first Darklord and wipe the whole field. By wiping the whole field, the Crusadia's effect is going to activate, and he's able to bounce a card back into our deck. So it didn't really matter because we just had just enough to go ahead and finish them off. But anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning in. If you like the Despia Darklords builds, let me know. Or are you guys just playing pure Despia? Either way, no matter what you're playing, both decks seem to be really good. I really just enjoy the Darklords, but pure Despia is fire as well.